Morning, Vincent.
Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Chang Han.
Morning, Vincent.
Chang, are you
Morning, Vincent.
drinking a green oil?
Say again.
Are you drinking the green oil into the warm water? The little bottle, the green
Yeah.
oil.
Right. What am I supposed to do with it?
Well,
Drink
some
it.
people just add a few drops into the
Yeah.
throat.
Yes, I've been doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay.
I just heard from the Kun M said that
Yes.
Kun Kong is just affected from COVID.
Oh, because of
Ah.
the maid in the house.
Yes.
Yes. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
So Kun Gung would have been the one helping with everything.
Yeah, quite close to Thanachan.
Very close. And that's why they want everyone completely stay away from the foundation and everywhere. Yes. Oh dear. Yes, that's a concern.
Yeah,
Also for Kun Dung Dun because she's so close.
Right.
yeah, quite close.
So far. Sawadika, Ajahn.
Sadika, Ajahn.
Sawadee-ka, Taracha.
Yeah.
Good to see you again, Alberto and Sal. Mr. Sal.
See you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Be glad to hear any of your questions today, Mr. Sal.
I think just hearing from you.
Sorry, difficult to hear you. Okay. Would you,
Thank you, Kun Sarah. I think today I just hear from you.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just see how I go because I've had 1 or 2 coughing fits, so I just see if it's okay. Okay, Ajahn, shall we start now? Vincent, would you like to continue with your topic from yesterday?
You mean the fever?
I was, or about the groups or the khandas?
Oh, I don't really have further question for that third stage. Yeah, but the fever topic was kind of relevant to many people's interest. Yesterday, people has interest about the COVID situation.
And from then on, about what else all day in life. No attention to this moment. So how can it develop right understanding to understand the absolute truth? So now it's time to be reminded in truth, what is the word of Buddha about now? Otherwise, it's not time to develop parami, or parami develops, because it's time just to think about this and that all the time. So how can it develop from moment, even just a moment, better than none? And it can condition more moment of interest to understand the truth, not just having the idea along as usual about everything from day to day. COVID was just a day, a moment of hearing about it. But what is the truth of that moment of hearing? When can it be known little by little to have more confidence of the truth that what is now appearing can be object of understanding, realizing its nature as it is. Otherwise, it wastes time in life thinking about this and that all the time. After Dhamma, understanding what is now, the other moment can be moment of thinking about conflict and apathy. as usual by conditions. But it's time to have more understanding because we are together talking about the truth, which is hidden again and again, covered up by the idea of COVID and everything as usual. So COVID, what is there at that moment? See, the truth, the absolute truth. Otherwise, when it's not COVID, it's other thing. How can there be the understanding of that moment of other thing? And realities are so very subtle, beyond expectation, that it's the moment of understanding what is there, only little by little, to begin to get closer to the truth, which is now arising and falling away. Nothing staying at all. At COVID again, we can talk about it. At moment of saying the term COVID, what is that? Is that Chetana? To talk, to speak that word, see, unknown, the whole story. But it can be known when it's wrong enough by conditions. Otherwise, there's no to let go the idea of self, which clings to whatever is there so much that it's covered up the truth. And take one along with life as usual, ignorance, attachment, and so on.
So, like other disease, it's a name. We fear about name.
So what is now is not known. Thinking, condition. And this is what it can be known. Otherwise, the idea of self, the clinging to the wrong understanding of self, cannot be eradicated at all. And who knows when will be their moment. It can be next moment. So the understanding of what is heard now, little by little, can condition moment of understanding the truth, but not as quick as one thing that is there can be known. It's there arising and falling away now, not known, until it becomes the object of understanding of each one, that it's not different one. And when it is each one, it means that at that moment, the other reality cannot appear together. We have more confidence of each reality, little by little. So not clear at all what is what, because they appear together. As soon as that one has fallen away next moment, the other condition to think about other thing as usual. That's why it has to be parami, very patient to know the truth. It's now. And if we don't talk about it, no time to have a little more understanding of the truth, because even it's now appearing, ignorance is there.
Right.
We wonder what will happen next, or this or that scenario, but actually there's no knowing about what will happen even at next moment, whether hearing will arise or seeing or thinking, because it's just for a moment. And thinking about fever or thinking about this or that, but actually it's just thinking about what is long, long gone, but no understanding at this moment, because at this moment, if there is no touching of heat, where is the fever? It's just a story about it. So whatever arises is just for a moment and then gone. But there's clinging to utter, clinging to something there all the time. So it's so helpful to always come back to this moment, understand now that the clinging is so strong, clinging to wanting to know more about the story and this story and that story, that we just forget all about understanding just what appears now. When at this moment, hardness is touch, visible objects seen. So where is the COVID or the fever at this moment? just the idea, the thinking about it. And it really is the best medicine, because at those moments of understanding now, then no drama, no fear, no anxiety, no clinging, just the precious moment of understanding, and then gone. And I think when Ajahn mentions about the best moments in life, like when she was in India, the best moment of life, and when we arrived in Bangkok, best moment in life, is referring to the moments of understanding and sharing that understanding, because everyone can share and talk about COVID and other things, but to understand and share about the understanding of the truth now is the very best moments.
And Vincent, I'd just like to add, we can say that we're here to study Dhamma, but what is the meaning of Dhamma study? Actually, it means study the Dhamma that is now.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
And
that-
we do not talk about the truth with understanding a little bit later. Those moments in life are moments of ignorance.
Mhm.
And what we're talking about now is actually the same as what is in the text, no matter talking about Vipassana Jnana or whatever, just different degrees of understanding, because now what we're talking about are different khandhas, different realities that arise and fall away. As we know, each one is a khandha gone instantly, and no matter whether visible object seen now, whether it's here or there or in or outer or one yesterday or in the future, it's just visible object that is seen, nothing else at all. And it's conditioned by the other Mahabhuta Rupas that arise with it, cannot arise alone. So that's why each visible object is different. Each hotness is different. The heat when touching the feverish forehead, or the heat when touching the table, is different because it's conditioned by the other Mahabhuta Rupas at that moment. But it's just khandha, it just arises and falls away, and can be understood by nimitta, that it is just heat or it is just hardness, no matter what heat, no matter what hardness. So I think it is the understanding that begins to develop now that leads to the understanding of what it is when understanding develops more and more.
So what Sarah has just been saying is that unlike the study of other subjects, say physics or anything, where it's just understanding the meaning of different concepts, how they relate to each other. In this case, as you read about khandhas, there are realities now, although you don't understand that the seeing now is a khandha, how it is a khandha, it's still the reference point is the reality. So that's the big difference.
And it's khandha because it arises
And-
and falls away now. Each reality, each conditioned reality has to fall away as soon as it's arisen. And this is why it is khandha.
Right. And in many cases, when, for example, the fever does not seem to go away, the heat does not seem to arise and go away, or the Vedana khandha, if it's akusala vipaka, if it's strong enough, like a while ago, a friend had some painful bodily feeling when she was sick. She said the Vedana is like there all the time, the painful feeling. So that's make it difficult to appreciate the nature. But yes, it's opportunity to understand. It depends on the level of panya to appreciate that.
So the panya has to begin now to understand that whatever khandha it is falls away instantly. The painful bodily feeling, no matter how strong, it's just for a moment and then gone. The heat, no matter how intense, it's just a khandha that falls away, conditioned by the other rupas in the kalapa. So this is the understanding of the kalapas, is the understanding that each khandha arises and falls away together with other rupas in that group, or for namas with other namas arising and falling away together with it. But just one appears by way of nimitta at a time. So we talk conventionally about the internal hardness or the external hardness, or the head hardness or the foot hardness or the table hardness, but actually hardness is just hardness, whatever it is. So when there's the understanding of hardness, the khandha of hardness itself, if that arises and falls away, no thought about head hardness or table hardness or inner or outer, because it's just hardness, just that reality to be known. But without understanding developing, like your friend said, there will always be the idea of pain that lasts a long time, fever that lasts for hours. And conventionally it may be correct, but in truth, at this moment, it's just for an instant and then gone, but taken for something. My fever, my headache, my pain, taken for something all the time.
And that shows why it's, without hearing the Buddha's teachings, that's how it's going to be for everyone, taking everything as self and lasting. And only after hearing the Buddhas can there gradually be a little more understanding, considering in terms of the reality now that it's not the way we think, but it's actually how, as the Buddha said. And of course, we forget, like even for us, if it's happening to us, there may not be conditions to consider that this pain is actually doesn't last, but it just, we're so involved in the pain that we insist and think that it's lasting, and just disturbed by the idea that it's lasting. But that's just a reflection of the strong attachment and ignorance and how little the understanding is.
Well, even if it does not last, its horizon fall away, but immediately a new one arises, another painful feeling arises.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. The point is that even that one just falls away. So all
Right.
there's seeing, there's hearing, and at the moment of seeing and hearing, there's no painful feeling.
No. Just so fast. Chitta arises always so fast.
So the stage of insight you were talking about, there is the understanding, the beginning of understanding of the arising and falling away. But now it's just an idea, a story we say so fast. It's not the direct understanding of the arising and falling away of the reality, which is how realities are understood as arising in groups, kalapas. So that's why the understanding has to begin from now, understanding at this moment that the hardness, different from hardness a moment ago or any other hardness, each one different, never to arise again. Morning, Anne. Morning, Ewan. Morning, everyone.
Morning, Sarah.
Morning.
สวัสดี everyone.
Sawadika.
Good morning.
Oh, and yesterday you were asking about to help a Thai friend about anusias, latent tendencies. Anything else you would like to ask about this or discuss about this topic?
Not for now. I actually forwarded her your reply with your explanation and good example about anger. Like out of the blue, we can get angry for nothing, or sometimes for the same reason. We like no angry, but different day. This one not happy about it, then get angry. So for now, I think my level of understanding, I have no questions about Anusaya, but just to appreciate the anothness of, like what we have been accumulated, and it's just what appearing right now. We still so far to understand it. So how to have a question about Anusaya, I'm not sure, Sarah. So just a little bit, I want to share my experience this morning. Just the blood test, and when the needle went in, there were so many things went on just for a very quick moment. For example, like hardness and color and pain and fear. It's happened so quickly, but it so cannot help to stop. Like, oh no, I trying to think about Dhamma and this is this and that. So I just want to share with you that it so happened so quickly
And
that
if one
cannot stop the pain. And I mean, when the needle went in just a little bit, already feel painful. Thank you.
And if one tries to stop or tries to change it or tries to make it different or tries to understand it, it's wrong way.
Yeah, indeed.
Because
But I
each
can't
moment
help
is
it,
conditioned.
Yeah, sure.
So even that moment of trying to stop it or trying to understand, so that thinking can be understood at that moment. The idea of I is there. I that would like to stop it or would like to change it or would like to understand it. So even that moment of wrong understanding can be understood, and then it's gone also. So it's not a matter of trying to observe or trying to catch, but let life run as usual, and understanding will develop gradually, but not by I trying to make it arise or trying to slow down what occurs or trying to have some special experiences. That's not the way at all.
So in that moment was a lot of thinking.
So even thinking, oh, it's too fast,
wrong,
I can't catch
wrong,
it. That
yeah?
wrong thinking, yes.
Wrong thinking. So
Because it's I who would like to slow it down, or I that thinking it's too fast.
So is it like what you told me? It's like a dosa, conditioned by attachment.
Right. And this is attachment to wanting to understand it, wanting to experience it, wanting to know what's there. And it's all gone. So now it's just thinking about the story about what happened, but what about now? So it comes back to now. So now it's just thinking about what happened to me this morning. But even now, whilst thinking, there can be understanding, because it's just moments of thinking, moments of seeing, moments of hearing now, not my experience, not my drama.
Right.
Just thinking and then gone. If there's no thinking about what happened this morning, where is what happened this morning? If there's no thinking now about the needle and the pain, where is it? Actually, it's just in one's imagination now.
Yeah, and the feeling, it's still like right now, few hours after that, still pain. So
for a moment, and then
memory.
thinking about it, and memory, exactly, because of memory, keep thinking about it and keep thinking about my pain because it's taken for something, my
pain, my feeling,
my story, my
my
drama.
story. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you.
Would you like to add anything more, Jan, or anyone?
What we are talking about are so real because strong painful feeling is real when it's there. But no understanding of anything as it is. That's why the person who does not have any idea about the truth, they cannot understand what is there as it is. But since there was the one who had enlightened the truth, so listen to what absolute truth that he had enlightened can condition the moment of beginning to understand what is there as it is, not by trying so hard or forced to have it, but understanding is there that nothing can be done because what arises is conditioned by its proper conditions to arise. That's why letting go wrong understanding with ignorance and attachment, little by little. So it's quite a long way to understand any moment, like strong, painful feeling as it's not anything, it's only there by conditions. To understand the truth of whatever appears now is conditioned and gone instantly. It's the way of nothing, it arises. But when whatever arises, it just arises and then fall away, never to arise again, on and on, from then to there to now to then, and on and on and on, any moment. So the right understanding cannot be forced or try so hard in order to understand it, because it's no understanding at moment of trying to do something. That's why just understanding how deep, how subtle reality right now appearing is, not as it is, because they are together. So how can just one reality be realized as it's just that, nothing else there? For example, at moment of sound appears, nothing there that is the absolute truth, but it's still there with many, many things at moment of hearing or sound. That's why the world does not appear as it is. Understanding this and understands that there can be ways to understand the truth a little more to understand the absolute truth of nothing, sunyata. And it's so relaxed because it's there by condition. It depends on understanding only whether it's conditioned to understand that or not yet. But hearing and considering little by little can bring about the understanding of the path that it has to be only this. Otherwise, ignorance and attachment condition moment of going away from the truth of this moment. That's why what is now appearing does not appear well, can condition moment of when it appears well. How can it be? Only one reality at a time. But as long as there are so many things around, it's not moment of beginning to understand the characteristic, which is there, only one at a time. Just developing understanding to understand the path, to understand what is there as it is, by conditions. And this is the only way to have less attachment to what appears as something, because actually it cannot be anything at all. Patience, khanti and virya, and confidence to done. So now reality is developed with understanding to condition moment of understanding what is there naturally by condition, because it's time to understand what is there as usual, as it is just a reality. Little by little, comparing to moments in life is so very little, but it develops it to have more, so strong enough to let go wrong understanding and attachment to that which is now appears. No one, no thing, the world of nothing, just whatever arises falls away and then never to return. So we can talk about strong, painful feeling until it's a reality. And what reality is it? Not just thinking about the strong, painful feeling. No one has to think about it because it's there. No one can condition its arising because it's there already. Understand the truth that that is a reality in order to let go. I'm so very painful. Anytime, it's not I who hear. And the sound is not the sound of bird or anything at all, just a sound and then gone. And this is the truth of whatever is there as it is. So very short and then gone, never to return. And this can be conditioned for understanding directly of what is there now as usual by conditions, by anattanness, understanding that clear, a little clearer and clearer. That can be understood, gone. But it's not directly at moment when it's there and gone. Until only one reality is the object, even so shortly, but it's different from moment when it appears but no understanding at moment when it appears at all. That like now we're talking about whatever is there, but it's not the moment when it appears and gone. Considering by conditions, understanding by conditions. Without the parami, it's impossible to understand the truth of this very moment. So now, moment of understanding is to develop on and on. It can directly experience the truth, that having confidence about it, that it has to be just like as it is, but it does not show up yet. And only understanding can open it little by little. The truth of this moment. Is it subtle?
Is it subtle?
Oh yes, indeed ค่ะท่านอาจารย์ and I realized that when streaming of thinking of those akusala can come together with understanding at all. Yeah, so slowly, like you said, again, begin again and again, little bit by little bit. So trying hard, also wrong. Yeah, I truly.
It's a reality.
Pardon me? Sorry? Ajahn, could you please ask again?
It's you who have wrong understanding, or understanding is a reality.
understanding is a reality.
Before it can be realized, it takes quite a long time to directly understanding it right now, see, and then it's gone. Patient, on and on, to have more understanding, hearing, considering, firm confidence of the truth.
Yes.
And if there wasn't the anusia, the latent tendency of wrong understanding of dittanusia, then that idea of I or my pain, it couldn't arise. But because that tendency is there, ready to condition that wrong understanding to arise anytime, that's why anytime there can be the taking of what is real for me or for something until it's been completely eradicated through the development of right understanding.
And
So
wrong
even
and wrong understanding is an asava. It shows how readily it arises.
can be very slight or very strong. The slight wrong understanding or taking it for me, not apparent at all. But when it's strong, when it's clearly my pain, my fever, the idea of something there, then it can be understood. And it's just a Dhamma that falls away instantly, a khandha that arises together with other khandhas and then is gone.
Yeah, but when, let's say, a needle went in, it's a needle, it's not a concept. So it's like so direct pain and strong.
So when you say it is a needle, in reality at that moment, like now, if one stabs, I'm stabbing with a pen, but what is experienced? What is the reality? Can a needle be experienced? Can a pen be experienced?
No, it's a hardness. It's
So
Sarah,
whatever,
but
and what about, so at that moment, whatever the hardness, however strong the hardness, it's just hardness. And what about the immediate painful feeling? What about the painful feeling? What reality is there?
yeah, it's the painful feeling. It's akusala.
What about at the moment of when the needle goes in, at the moment of experiencing that strong hardness? What is the painful feeling at that moment?
That was akusala vipaka.
Right, just painful bodily feeling, and for a moment, and then gone. Afterwards, there can be other moments, but in between, thinking and seeing and hearing, and as you say, many moments of akusala, many moments of aversion with unpleasant feeling because of not liking it and thinking about the story, taking it for something.
Right.
But they're all just different dharmas, each one arising and falling away.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I heard a group of Thai friends discuss about this painful feeling as well. But may I ask more a little bit about subconscious? In terms of English, how do you explain subconscious in this example, please, Sarah?
What do you mean by subconscious?
It's like I think subconscious is like an instinct reaction, like immediate reaction to whatever it is that appear. Like when you heard, or it's like so much sharp pain or something, then and then your hand instantly remove or something. Is that subconscious, or I mean in terms of English? Because a Thai friend, they were discussed about this, and they asked whether English colleagues, Intl.Dhamma friend use the word subconscious or not. So I kind of trying to ask for other friend understanding as well.
In conventional English, we will say what is subconscious is that which is not known, like when in deep sleep, for example. But in terms of realities, what you explain are just different moments of experiencing, different moments of chitta experiencing the object, moment of bodily experience of the hardness with painful feeling, followed by so many moments of thinking with aversion, instant aversion to what has been experienced, and then more moments of bodily painful feeling, more thinking, more aversion, also moments of seeing, moments of hearing. Usually what we say is subconscious is just a label for ignorance, because no understanding at all of what appears, taking the painful feeling for my experience, taking the thinking, the aversion for my response. So actually, subconscious just means ignorance, not understanding at all what appears right now. Like at this moment, now there is no bodily painful feeling, but we keep thinking about the one before because I didn't like it. No one is concerned about the pleasant feeling this morning. No one has a such a story about that. But what about now? What about at the moment of pleasant feeling? It's just a moment of experiencing and then gone.
So
But
it's
there's
like,
ignorance now. So we call it's ignorance now. So we say it's subconscious, but actually
Mhm.
the realities are rising and falling away. Each chitta experiences its object, but not understood at all taken for the story of my experience of fever, my experience of pain, my experience of discomfort, my
Very
difficulties.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, my difficulties, my problems in life, the drama of I, actually just different moments of different dharmas arising and falling away, gone forever. So I think, as Sajan was saying, it's only the non-selecting, the understanding what appears by conditions is the only way that there can gradually be the letting go of the idea of something there, of self, of my experience, the understanding that whatever arises falls away completely. And this is what is meant by understanding, developing, letting go, gradually abandoning the idea of self and something there.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Sarah. Can I put it this way as a like a brief summary? As it like
Are you able to put your video on, Owen, or not?
no, I'm in my car and it's kind of like dark.
Okay.
See me.
Okay, get
Actually,
the point.
Sorry.
Carry on.
So can I like give a brief summary? Like it's just a layer of like ignorance and not understand. It's been assimilated like a deep rooted, yeah. But then in English, like the word of subconscious, it can also mean it's like bhavanka citta when you're sleeping also.
But in fact, we might say subconscious, but even bhavanka citta is not subconscious. So it's not a good translation or way to put it at all, because each citta in life, no matter it's seeing now or hearing now, or bhavanka citta in deep sleep, or even bhavanka citta between seeing and thinking, it arises, it experiences its object and falls away, but it's not known at all. It's not understood at all. But we cannot say it's subconscious because it's conscious. The bhavanka citta is conscious and experiences its object. So I won't use the word when talking about the Dhamma at all.
Okay, understood. Okay. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Well, great to hear from you, Owen, and glad
Right.
you can discuss Dhamma while driving. Drive carefully.
Okay.
Hang, do you want to bring up your topic that you wish to ask Ajahn about?
Yes, Anachanka, I'd like to hear more about the Phassa, because we understand that at the moment of seeing now is it may have a condition by the eye base and the visible object. But as we learn about the Phassa, without Phassa, the seeing cannot arise. So to like to speak more about this. Thank you.
If we don't talk about phassa yet, just consider, is there something by conditions, even it doesn't appear, but it's there by conditions. In truth, as long as there are conditions, no matter when and where and what, there must be a reality arising when the conditions for its arising is proper time to condition such moment, right? Even it's not known, like where in England, in Italy, and so on. As long as there are conditions for whatever to arise, it has to arise. Ever it is not experienced, it's a truth. As long as there are conditions for anything to arise, it has to arise, no matter it's known or not. It doesn't mean that now we experience all things here and there at once at all. But as long as there are conditions for anything to arise, even sound or smell or seeing or hearing, no matter who experiences it or not, when conditions are proper, ready to condition that reality to arise, it has to arise. So can there be rupa and nama anywhere by conditions? We don't talk about the characteristic which experiences and that which cannot experience yet. We just talk about now whatever arises is conditioned. So no matter it is experienced or not, as long as there are conditions for anything to arise, it has to arise. For example, is there Devan world now and so on? As long as there are conditions, whatever is there is conditioned to arise. Is it true or not? In order to understand what is the Tao, it's the same. When there are conditions for its arising, no one can stop its arising. Now it appears, but it appears because there is a reality which experiences it. Is that true?
Yes, is it true?
So now there is the I base for sure. No one knows, right? Conditioned by karma. It has to arise non-stop. As long as karma is there to condition its arising, it arises. And there are conditions for that which can be sound or sight or whatever arising too, right? But without the phassa conditioned by karma to see that object, that phassa cannot arise to directly experience that which is seen as that which is seen. And when it's time for hearing to arise to hear unpleasant object because of the karma, kusala karma, condition that moment to be the object. Karma condition phassa as vipaka to arise together with that which is, we call it citta, experiences that object. As soon as it contact that object, the citta arises because they are sahajata paccaya. They cannot act alone. The 7 Jetasikas, as we have known, arise with any time of citta, no matter what kind of citta is there. So that is a reality. All nama, they're experiencing reality. There's no rupa at all at that moment. Imagine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It's very, very good sound quality today, Ajahn.
Okay, yeah. So what is there now or anywhere when phassa is there? Contact to condition the akusala vipaka citta. All jetasikas and citta are conditioned by that particular kamma, akusala kamma, to experience that very object arising together. So we can understand each jetasika little by little. If phassa does not contact the object, citta cannot experience the object at all. So whenever phassa arises, because it can experience the object as the kamma condition for it to arise, it arises in contact with citta, and the other jetasikas experience that object. No one there at all. That's why just learn more in order to let go the idea of self. It has to be more understanding of the truth to condition letting go, because understanding that very moment as by way of vipaka arising together by agama. Phassa must be there. Citta must be there. Sanya and feeling must be there. And other cetasika also have to be there, as they are all the result of agama. And no one knows what karma in what life, because all karmas are hidden. Now, the moment of kusala and akusala moment arising together will condition vipaka. But who knows when? And when it's there, who knows that it's the vipaka of what karma has been done? Is there phassa now? The
Yes.
reality with contact. Otherwise, citta cannot experience that very object, that phassa contact only in a moment and then gone. So when a reality appears, it is the beginning of understanding the world of that very moment, not the whole world with people and things, but many, many things. So it's now phassa at moment of seeing. Why? It sees. If phassa does not contact, arising by conditions to contact that object which impinge on the eye base when it's seeing. And when it's moment of seeing, there must be contact too for citta which sees to arise. So each moment, citta experiences the object because phassa contacts that very object at that very moment.
So Ajahn, can you say that the karma condition phassa to arise in the moment of the seeing, hearing?
When it is vipaka, seeing is akusala vipaka, there must be akusala vipaka cetasika arising together by way of kamma paccaya, nanakanika kamma paccaya. And what about feeling? See, the same. Sanya, marking, remembering what is there, depending on whether it is kamma or it is vipaka. Unknown. But karma condition this moment of seeing. At this moment of ignorance or understanding can condition moment of vipaka when the deed has been done. As long as there is akusala, there must be vipaka, and as long as there is vipaka, it conditions karma again.
So the Chaitasikas that arise together with the seeing, all conditioned by the same karma. They're all vipaka namas arising together, conditioned by the karma, which also conditions other results, other chitas. So when we talk about vipaka or the vipaka chita, it also includes the Chaitasikas that arise together with it. Say hearing is a result of karma, that means hearing and its accompanying Chaitasikas.
So when you mention about the ahara pachaya, it's also including the moment of vipaka chitta, or it's a specific moment of the chitta?
Without phassa, can there be moment of experiencing the object?
No.
That's the way it is by way of ahara, bring about those, whatever is there. Phassa is Paccuppanna, and the other reality arising from it is Paccuppanna, because phassa is Paccaya. So phassa is Paccaya, right? What is the Paccuppanna? Otherwise, we still take it for I all the time, not understanding what is enough to gradually letting go the very sticky adherence, akusala, and ignorance.
For example, when vijnana chitta is ahara pachya, it means that the chitta, any chitta, like seeing or hearing, is nutriment condition for the other Chaitasikas that arise with it and for subsequent chittas. So the chitta is the pachya, and those dhammas conditioned by it are the pacchyupanna, those which are conditioned, such as the accompanying Chaitasikas. Chitta is the leader, so it conditions the others, which are conditioned, pacchyupanna. So when we're talking about phassa as ahara pachya, it is the conditioning factor. So the phassa itself conditions other realities. It conditions the other Chaitasikas that arise with it. It conditions the chitta. It conditions them all to experience the object that phassa has contacted. So they are then the pacchyupanna dhammas, conditioned by the phassa.
So there are a number of conditions, it seems, occurring at the same, to bring about, say, a moment of vipaka, say seeing. That the moment of the seeing, and then and that at that moment the gamma condition there brings about all the Chaitasikas accompanying it. Is that right? By sahajata pachaya?
And also by karma pachya. So
that's
when
what karma,
when karma conditions the
Yeah.
seeing, karma also conditions
conditions.
the Chaitasikas by kanika karma pachya. It's brought its result at a later time because the karma was performed earlier
Yes.
So the karma also brings about the resulting cetasikas as well as the citta. So they are the patyupana. So for any dharma to arise, seeing or passa, there are, as you say, many different conditions.
Right.
There has to be the eye sense, there has to be the visible object that's impinged on the eye sense, has to be the kapas karma, there has
Right.
to be the other cetasikas, conditioning by sahajata pachya, so many different pachya in order for that reality to be patyupana, the conditioned
Right.
one at that moment.
And as you just added, the ahara, the nutrient condition, the
Yes.
pasa. So that's pasa also conditioning the other cetasikas
So
to
the
arise.
four nutriment conditions. One is the material nutriment, which I think we touched on yesterday, the ahara pachya, the nutritive essence in food
Mhm.
that conditions the rupas of the body, for example. And then three are nama nutriments. One is the chitta, the vijnana nutriment. Chitta is the leader in experience. So it conditions the other cetasikas that arise with it and subsequent chittas and cetasikas.
Mhm.
And one is the chaitana, which we have discussed a lot. So the chaitana which arises at every moment in life, the intention now, the intention at each moment that conditions the other cetasikas and chitta. And the other one which Hang is bringing up is passa ahara pachya, passa nutriment condition, because it depends on what passa contacts, what the chitta and other cetasikas experience. So it is
Right.
It
It's
is
a leader in
nutriment
its own
condition.
way.
Sorry?
It's not a leader like Jitta is, and yet it's a leader in its own way. No pasa, no other Jetasikas arise.
It has
no
its particular
arising.
function, and that's why we read about passa as conditioning Vedana. So it is because it is nutriment condition. So
Mhm.
the Vedana that arises depends on what passa
Who has
contacts,
contacted,
for
right.
example. And so we can refer to passa as the pachya, the ahara pachya for other dharmas. And it's also the patyapana, the one that is conditioned in different ways by other dharmas.
Yes, it's
And I think that was Jan was just asking Hang about.
it's very complex,
And,
very
and
woven. Yeah.
for example, there are many sound in your surroundings. Suppose there are many sound, and
Yes.
why this particular sound is heard, not the other sound. So the passa as the ahara pacha play a leading role. Why this sound heard? Because it's a touched by passa, not the other sound.
That's good. That's why.
Yeah, depends which sound passa contacts.
Contact. Yes.
Or why seeing and hearing? Because the passa as a ahara pacha.
Yeah. So that's why seeing it. Okay, because that's what Pasa has contacted. And yet it's very, very closely linked with Gamma Pachaya as well.
Well, at each moment, there are numerous conditions.
Yes, so many.
And it shows how anatta, the arising of the seeing or the hearing or the painful bodily feeling is, no matter what medicine one may take, no matter how careful the doctor is with the needle,
Right.
it depends on the conditions, whether there's painful bodily feeling at this moment or not, or depends whether there is what we call fever or not. It just
Right.
depends each moment, each experience on many complex conditions.
Yes, or which aspect of ahara pachaya there is at any moment as well. Okay, thank you. It's really
So,
very it's very complex. It's
can you
like
say that? Oh, sorry.
go ahead, Han.
Can you say that at the moment of seeing, there are 4 kind of ahara pachaya together, or just only one, like a pasa?
So Pasa Pachaya is there performing its function, and because it's contacting the object, conditioning the other Chaitasikas and Chitas to experience. Chita Ahara Pachya is there at every moment in life. The Chita is Ahara Pachya. Chaitana is there, always Ahara Pachya, always coordinating the other Chaitasikas and Chitas, always intention at that moment. But what about the food, the nutriment condition at that moment? Seeing. What do you think?
No.
So if we're talking about the moment of seeing, we're not talking about the nutritive essence.
Yes. So only 3 kinds of ahara pachaya there.
Because nutritive essence, it arises in every
Every
group of
moment.
rupas. So the nutriment is always conditioning other rupas. But at the moment when we're talking about Chitta and the Chaitasikas, we're not talking about the physical nutriment, even though we can say that it must be there in the groups of rupa, but it's not experiencing or experienced at those moments.
Yeah. Thank you. But at the moment of testing, is there 4 kind of ahara pachaya?
At the moment of tasting. I think I'll let you ask her, Jan.
May I interrupt some?
Yeah.
Chetana, which is ahara pachaya, I thought it should be the akusala and akusala chetana, not all kind of chetana are ahara pachaya. What is your comment?
Only when there's intention to do good or to do harm.
Right.
Perhaps. Please ask your question to Ajahn.
Achan, I may have a question when we testing what kind of ahara pachaya is there. It's including the nutrition.
At moment of what? Eating or what?
Yes.
So the question is about what are there at moment of eating, right?
Yes.
What is eaten? Food, we can say that.
Yes.
But what is there in the food? Why do we eat? Why do we have to have food?
Because of hungry.
Just talk about the food.
Yeah.
Why do we have to have food? Why do we have to eat food? Shall we live without food, without eating food, having food?
No, because it's lack of nutrition, right?
So that is rupa ahara, right?
Yes.
No doubt about rupa ahara.
No.
But it depends whether you're talking about what is eaten, the food. So there has to be the nutriment in what is eaten. Otherwise, it wouldn't be of any value. Or whether you're talking about the tasting itself and the Chitta and the Cheta seekers that are tasting. So these are different kinds of ahara, the pasa and the Chitta at that moment.
In any group of solidity, is there the reality, which is nutrition?
Yes.
That's it. Kapalikarahara, nutrition. For whom? Or for what? That it is Kapalikarahara.
Can you say it again? I cannot hear clearly.
Okay. There is ahara in each group of rupa, right? Patvi, Tejo, Apo, Vayu, and then for more reality and nutrition is included. So there must be nutrition in any kalapa of rupa, right?
Yes, I agree with you. Yes.
For what or for whom?
I don't think for anyone. It's just including in the one each kalapa.
Yes, for what? For whom?
For each kalapa is
For,
yeah.
yes. Why do we take food? That's who have to have kapalikarahara. The being in the what plane? How many planes that have to have kapalikarahara?
Oh.
It doesn't matter at all, but it means that when we use the term kapalikarahara or ahara rupa, it means that for those who have to eat to live, right?
Yes.
That's why it is apajya for the being who has to live by having food.
And Hang, I think what the Chan is saying is that although this rupa is present in all rupa kalapas, but not all rupas can be food for every being. Can be digested by humans, by ants, or they're just different. It depends.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I got it.
Sarah, you mentioned earlier 3 kinds of nama ahara. Pasa, Jetana, and
Chitta.
Chitta itself, yes. So that
itself.
every moment in life, Chitta is ahara pachya,
Yes.
always the leader in experiencing, conditioning the Cheta seekers that arise with it, and also conditioning other Chetas and Cheta seekers. I just check one point with the Jan when we talk about Vijnana ahara pachya, because we talk about the Chita as the pachya for the other Cheta seekers that accompany it at that moment. And as ahara pachya, can we also refer to the Chitta as conditioning Chetas and subsequent Chetas and Cheta seekers by ahara pachya as well?
Vijnanahara condition the other chitta as kamma pachya, but by way of ahara, without that without chitta, nothing can arise. When we don't talk about kamma pachya, but when we talk about kamma pachya, we talk just about chetana. But when we talk about any chitta, it conditioned other citta to arise when it has fallen away by way of anantara paccaya. That's why there are not just only one paccaya at a time.
And what about by ahara paccaya, for example? Can we refer to the vijnana ahara paccaya? It conditions the next citta by anantara paccaya. Can we also refer to it as conditioning other cittas by ahara paccaya as well, or only the co-arising cetasikas?
That's why when we talk about ahara paccaya, it has to talk by way of paticca or other way, or kamma paccaya, and so on, because there are different kinds of citta, vijnana, and it can be ahara to condition what? By way of paticca vijnana, by what paccaya, for the result of it to arise by way of paticca nama and rupa, right?
Right. We
So
have
it
to be very
means only
we have to be specific about which kind of citta we are talking about as to when it is ahara paccaya. Because we cannot say that when talking about vipaka cittas, it's the same as kusala and akusala cittas. So they have to be very specific to tell when it is ahara paccaya for other cittas, as well as the cetasikas that arise with it.
by way of paticca vijnana condition nama and rupa.
Acharya, is only at the moment of Patisambi Chitta, including another moment of Chitta?
Does any vijnana condition anything to arise? Or is it a condition by different paccaya?
Conditioned by different. Yeah, I think.
At that moment of birth, what condition? Birth. Kamma paccaya, right?
Yes.
And when it arises with nama and rupa, right? Other cetasikas and rupa is the result of vijnana ahara too. Vijnana too as ahara.
Yeah. Thank you,
And
Acharya.
it's only at that one moment in life that the rupas arise together with the citta at the same moment, conditioned by karma, because at every other moment, the rupa, like the visible object or the eye sense, has to have already arisen in order for the seeing or the hearing or the vipaka citta to have arisen. So it's different at that first moment in life because they arise at the same moment. So that is why the citta also conditions the rupas at that moment.
And all this word would be forgotten when there's no understanding of the reality of citta right now. But how can it be conditioned when there's the understanding enough to condition more than of experiencing directly what is there to be known as no self? It is the reality which experiences the object, but it's not known at all about what conditioned it, because it's only a moment of realizing the nature of one reality at a time, when it's the reality which experiences an object. Nothing else is there. That's why the understanding of the reality which experiences in life, like seeing, hearing, liking, thinking, so on, are the same. No rupa at all, and only one at a time in darkness, because it's not light. So this moment of light and darkness are there all the time, unknown. So when we talk about vijnana namas, they do not have shape and form, color, or anything at all. Imagine when it appears, no world at all in darkness, but there is that which experiences an object, no shape, no form at all. So now we're talking about nama and rupa to understand what is there as it is, because feeling can be directly experienced, painful feeling, but it's I, it's mine, it's me all the time. So it means that no understanding of that which is not self as different realities. That's why we learn about the paccaya and so on, in order to let go doubt about what is appearing. When it appears a little clearer, little by little. Eliminate doubt little by little until it's all gone completely, absolutely, ultimately. That's why just understand what is there has to be by condition. But the characteristic of the reality as not self is not known yet. When each one does not appear as it is, as now, thinking now does not appear as it's not self, it's only that which experiences an object. And seeing now, it's not self, it's only that which experiences an object. The characteristic which is not I has to be that which experiences the object, or that which is experienced as mine, my body, for example. And it's beyond expectation, no selection, unexpectedly, what would be the object of direct awareness with understanding that has developed enough to understand the truth of no one there at all. Otherwise, Uchikicha, the I, lurks itself. At that moment, there must be ignorance and attachment. So now, many moments of ignorance and attachment unknown, and the moment of hearing about the truth with understanding little by little is different from those moments, which are moments of ignorance of what is there, because they do not appear well from time to time, from moment to moment, from a reality to another reality. So just learn that what for to understand the paccaya, the vijnana, hara, and so on, to let go the clinging to the self as it's me or it's mine. Even what is there now has to be by ahara too.
And Tambak, I just checked about Chaitana, and I think it includes Chaitana Ahara. I think as nutriment, it includes Chaitana, which arises with any chitta, because when it arises with any chitta, it maintains and supports the chitta and chaitasikas by coordinating their tasks. And it also conditions a rupa produced by chitta by way of ahara paccaya. So I think at any moment it is ahara paccaya.
Okay, thanks.
Understand? But as Ajahn stresses, the only point of knowing is letting go of the self when reading or hearing or considering.
Very subtle.
Very subtle.
To understand that this is the only way to understand the truth, stage by stage, little by little. When it appears clear and clear, little by little. Just one reality right now can appear so clear. So now they do not appear clearly. But it can be the object of right understanding of awareness, one at a time. So there's more understanding of what it's there now, little by little. Like feeling now. remembering now. Otherwise, it has to be all the time. I think, I like, I remember. Even now, what is remembered is not by anyone, but only by a reality which must and remember before and on and on. Is sanya ahara?
No.
No, yeah.
So now what is ahara? Which brings about what is there now?
It's the coffee now.
Coffee, cetasika, rupa,
No, it's
or
the nutrition in the coffee now.
who notice. So it's not just wanting to understand the world, but the reality now as it is the most important. When there is the understanding of the nature of that which experiences now, no matter its memory, it's remembered, or it feels and so on, it's a reality that experiences an object by different manners, different characteristics. That's why it is different from citta. And it's a Dhamma, so that is the Dhamma Nupassana Satipatthana. Because it's not citta, and the feeling feels all the time and appear sometimes, but the sanya is there. Does it appear now or anytime?
It's now.
It's something instantly and then gone. And it arises with right understanding. So sanya begins to remember the truth of what is there, a reality, not in words. But at moment of understanding that sanya is there, arising together. And what is ahara there then? See, it's not just try to think, try to understand it, but even that which now appears as it is not known. So it's just the idea of something all the time about that which is there, but it's not the moment of understanding the reality which is there, as we have said or learned.
John, you just asked what is ahara now after you talked about sanya, remembering. So what was the answer to that? What is ahara now?
Now, the question is, what is ahara now? See, and what is its result? It doesn't matter as long as the characteristic of it does not appear as it is. We just remember the word, the story about it, but not any understanding of the truth of it. What is it? It's that which experiences by way it is, as it remembers already, but the moment, at that moment, sanya, memory, does not appear at all.
No.
Even that which is object of experiencing does not appear as it is. That's
No.
why understanding stage by stage what is there, that which experiences usually is hidden. And even that which is experienced always taken by memory for something all the time.
Mhm.
And the feeling feels towards it different kind of feeling by conditions to be pleasant or unpleasant, bodily or mentally. All are conditions. No one there at all. No matter how much we understand the truth, if it doesn't bring about or condition moment of understanding, that is thinking, that is feeling, but it's I, as long as it's not known as it is when it's there, little by little, the moment of that is not self because it experiences the object by way of attachment or anger or greedy or whatever. All are real, but it's not known as it is until just one by one begin to be the object by way of conditions, not at anyone's will at all. So the characteristic of anatta can be known little by little when there is right awareness with understanding of that characteristic. Just to understand the difference between the intellectual understanding and directly understand what is there now, as we have heard. No flowers, no bottle, only what is seen, like COVID, the reality of COVID. Where is it? What is known? Can COVID be known? Be realized?
No. It's
So
not-
in truth, that very moment, what are there as not self? Not anything at all. It
What
can
are-
be,
Go ahead, Ajahn.
for example, it can be developed of that moment of seeing.
Mm-hmm.
COVID is seen. At moment of hearing, no COVID is heard. The sound and then gone. It's a moment of letting go the idea of self or thing from whatever is taken before. The understanding of no one and no thing will release all kind of trouble when it's strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, everything.
Yeah.
Just 6 hours in any life appearing, no more than that.
Mm.
But thinking, imagine so much about what appears as something all the time, as COVID. You know that now my niece do not want me to go out of the room because Kun Kung has COVID.
Oh,
And
I heard
yesterday,
this.
I was with Kun Kung and Kun Dung then the whole morning.
oh, Kungung and
But
Kundung.
it's
Oh, God.
because I check every day.
You better keep talking to us by Zoom, Ajahn. It's the safest place.
Yeah. Or
And
from now,
your nieces will be very happy that you stay locked in your
Right.
room just talking by Zoom. Then they don't have to worry about you.
Goodness.
yeah, I could fit two in the same room
No,
together.
no more shopping for Kunjit.
And now, negative.
Oh.
Good.
Good.
And mine is negative now also.
Oh, that's good.
Good.
Good, good.
Your sound is very good. Your voice is very good now.
Yeah,
The very,
that's great.
the very good thing about it is my main concern is to make sure I don't infect any staff in the hotel. So I've had to be really, really careful to keep everyone at a distance and wear
Yeah.
the N95 mask. But now I can relax. So Jonathan's turn to be very, very careful. So I'm so happy if no one except John catches from me. So I don't want the staff to get sick at all. So
No,
this
no.
has been the most difficult part. So for me,
How is Jonathan doing now?
he's last night was very tough because I felt it like I was sleeping next to a fire.
Oh,
So
God. Oh,
So-
goodness.
and of course, we can't open the bedroom window at all. So it's, and so, but anyway, he'll be fine. Just have to go through the stages.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. Yes, yes.
Right.
And in truth, COVID is not as dangerous as ignorance because
Not at all.
it's seeing no COVID. At moment of hearing, no COVID. 6 surveys, no COVID. Only reality, absolute reality arising and falling away.
And the question that Ajahn asked before, Anne, about what is the nutriment now? So the chitta now, the seeing, the hearing is the
Yes.
nutriment now. The chaitana now is nutriment now, maintaining the chitta and chaitasikas, and the passa right now,
Right.
contacting whatever object
Yeah.
it is the
Okay.
nutriment now. So at every moment in life, there is ahara paccaya,
Thank you.
conditioning other
I see that.
dhammas, paccayapana, yes.
This has
So-
been very useful hearing all of this.
So at each moment, even even during the night when there's pain or heat or this or that, but actually, as Ajahn said, the ignorance is much more dangerous. Just different
Yeah,
dhammas arising and falling away, and all gone, all those experiences all gone, all back to this moment.
Yes, and somehow hearing more about the ahara paccaya and talking about the many paccayas arising with each, for and with each moment. John is always saying, well, we can't find the self can't be found, and it's even clearer. No, the self can't be found in this angle.
And the rupas now, well, some rupas conditioned by karma. Okay, it's up to karma what rupas are conditioned.
Yes,
But
yeah,
those conditioned by different kinds of nutriments, such as the chitta now, like the kind of chitta at this moment, it also affects the
Yeah.
rupas in the body.
yes,
Like dwelling on the long story with a lot of fear and dosa. It has its conditioning effect too. So the chitta now is
yes.
important nutriment, and the passa and the chaitana
And the Chaitanya,
and
yeah.
the medicine, the nutriment in what is eaten, but not just from outside, also inside the body, nutriment conditioning other rupas.
Yeah, no, it's just a fuller picture of why there is no I.
Right. And the understanding for a moment, letting go the story of I and my drama, then
Mhm.
that it conditions. It also is conditioning factor. Yes, conditions
sure.
the other dharmas and conditions the rupas
Mhm.
that are conditioned by chitta.
Yeah, thank you. This is very helpful.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for the question, Han.
Yeah, thank you. It's clearer now.
Yes, it is.
Vincent, what about that topic about liking and patience? Do you still have any comment or still think of liking and patience as being related?
When we talk about patient, well, we just talk about, it could be kusala patient or akusala patient, right? So when we say endure, there could be some, there should be and must be something behind that want to have, like to have. Otherwise, why would I be patient? I'm patient because there's something I like to achieve, be it kusala or akusala. That's what I think. But different people has different preference for the wording. When I read about the text translation using liking, I was surprised to see liking. But when I read about the footnote, it's talk about because it's basically conditioned by Panya, knowing the value of the knowledge, the value of the truth, the knowledge. So it's like, it's tolerate, it's endure. So I think from that kind of perspective, I am okay with using liking. But like yesterday, Anne was saying, we endure something we don't like. But why? Why do you want to endure something you don't like if it's not something you like better? That implies something you like better. That you are willing to endure something you don't like, right? Be it kusala or akusala goal. Like if I want to lose weight, I don't like to feel hungry. That must mean I like the idea of losing weight better. That's why I'm willing to endure the discomfort I don't like. So, well, just it's not really that important. I think patience and endurance are the most mainstream. But I was just thinking the liking behind all this condition and manifestation of patience. It's not. I think patience and endurance are quite sufficient to use.
I think it's more accurate to just refer to Kanti as patience or endurance, like now patience to, or endurance, patience, which conditions the endurance of listening, even if there's some physical discomfort because of the appreciation of Dhamma. So I think when we're talking about Kanti, we're not just talking about the ordinary effort, but when it is the very strong effort, the unusual effort, like with understanding, for example, or it can be with strong attachment when there's very strong effort. But we cannot say that the patience itself is liking. It can be conditioned in different ways, whether it's kusala or akusala, but the patience to develop understanding, we cannot say it's because of liking or that it is liking, I don't think.
Different moments.
Different moments. So
Yeah.
Kanti is just the patience, the endurance itself. We can say, oh, because of the appreciation of Dhamma, there is the patience to listen, but the Kanti itself is just the patience, the strong patience.
Right. We have been thinking like this. Yes, I totally agree. But I'm just saying for the footnote in the Visuddhimagga, because it's explained the liking is liking the value of the truth. So, well, if they say that,
I think it's just a poor translation because it's just referring to the nature of Kanti. It doesn't, I don't think it's anything to do with liking anything. It's just referring to the patience itself with understanding the truth. In fact, here, I think because it's in the context of Vipassana Jnana, it's Kanti Jnana. Kanti Jnana is developing with firm and highly developed understanding. I don't think it's anything about liking at all. The term, the kamati, refers to being patient, not to liking.
I think the liking here is not really the conventional usage of liking. Like it still reflects some kind of value or wanting behind all this. For example, Ajahn is traveling to Jetavana for just a few days. That's a lot of patience and endurance to go through. But she liked it. She liked to share Dhamma there.
But we cannot
There
say
must be
that,
some liking behind all this
we
to
cannot say
endure.
that patience is liking. Anyway, I've got a bit of a tickle, so let's just ask
Okay.
Jan for her comments.
Right.
In a day, we can find out what is a reality. Whatever is there in a day, it must be a reality. So is there any time that one has patience in life? Ordinary, is there unknown? But
Yes.
it is so very patient to do something, to get something, to work hard, and so on. Is there any patience in life?
Yes, many akusala patient.
That's why it has to be known whether it arises with what kind of cetasika and citta. Otherwise, we just think about it. It has to be this or it has to be that. But at the moment of trying to do anything with patience before it can be done. So there is moment of patience in life, right? But not understanding the nature of it right then. That's why we learn about what is patience. It's not phassa, it's not vedana, but it's a reality, which is virya cetasika. And there are many levels of virya, and it accompanies with kusala or akusala or vipaka or kriya. That's why it's different in a moment. When it is kusala, it's not akusala. When it is vipaka, it's not kriya. That's the way to understand at what moment there is that kind of reality, virya cetasika, at what level. So when it arises with lopa, is it kusala? When it is
Akusala.
when it is akusala, it can condition moment of understanding anything as it is. It's I all the time. That's why when will it be parami? When there is the understanding of the truth that even seeing is now arising and falling away, sunyata. Even that can be known, but not to ignorance at all, but only to right understanding enough to let go the idea of not understanding the nature of it at moment of seeing, not understanding the nature of seeing itself and the nature of that which is seen. So in order to experience this little by little directly, it needs how much kusala in a day, in life, to understand what is there little by little, as it's not there at moment of hearing, a moment of thinking. And that can be realized when there's more confidence of the truth. And that moment, it takes quite a long time. Viriya, it is patient to understand this very moment as it is. And when anger arises, is there any patience not to get angry? Or to understand it as not I at all. And this kind of patience is parami, because leading to more understanding of the truth without hearing about it. There cannot be moment of be patient not to be akusala as long as there used to be conditioned, but to begin to understand the nature of it. At that moment, it has to be with patience, great patience to understand. Because even right now, there is seeing. Is there any understanding of seeing? Only one at a time, as it is. So this moment of hearing and considering is parami, which is kanti parami, great patience to develop understanding. Because the firm understanding of the truth that in truth there's no one. Why not? Because from nothing, there is a reality, and then nothing again, always nothing. Is it true or not? Only through eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, now and anytime, unknown. So before it can develop to the degree that it can experience the nature of whatever is there as not sound, because it is that which arises to experience an object and then gone. Everything now is breaking, no more at all, gone all the time until the end of life. Next life, conditioned by previous life. And the being, the next being in life, is conditioned too by panya or ignorance or what degree of understanding anusaya and then wholesome reality, vasana. See, that's why now patient to understand what is there is parami. But when one lies so much to do this in order to get that, it's not parami because it cannot understand the truth. But it is patient anyway because it is virya. But it arises with akusala. So it's akusala virya or akusala patient. So patient doesn't mean only when it is wholesome. But at moment when it's strong virya, so long enough to get the result, that it's not just the ordinary virya which arises with any akusala citta or any kusala citta. The truth is the truth when it's virya. How can it be changed? What matter? The way it is with akusala, with anger too. Virya is to be angry. That is patient to understand it, that it's just a reality. So in life, the reality appears as it is, whether it is virya, unknown virya, together with the aswa, see. But when it appears as a reality, it is different from the moment arising with akusala. And it's different from moment arises with kusala, without panya. And it is different when it arises with panya. Or it's different when it arises virya, with root or without root. That's why only once in samsara is there by conditions. No one, nothing, and then gone. So there's more confidence of what can be known is only that which appears, whether it is khanti, akusala, or vipak, or kiriya, or kusala. See? Just to let go the idea of self, because understand the word that is there as we use for something in life, like khanti, be khanti, see, not get angry, and so on. It depends on conditions, whatever is there, conditions, such moment, no matter how much or how little virya is there just for a moment and then gone. But learn to understand that no matter what level it is, no one and nothing at all. This is the way to let go, clinging instantly to that which appears. Is it clear? Can you hear me?
Yes, Ajahn. Yes, it's clear. It's the virya cetasika, and could be kusala, akusala most of the time, conditioned by lobha.
So lobha itself cannot be, the virya cannot be the patience. So the liking,
No.
the liking itself, the lobha, usually it's lobha, it cannot condition the kusala virya. It's not the patience itself. So we cannot translate khanti as liking, even though liking, for example, liking an ice cream very much may be conditioned for there to be a lot of akusala virya, a lot of unwholesome patience to queue and wait a long time because of that liking. But liking itself isn't khanti. And here, when it's talking about vipassana khanti jnana, a very high degree of wholesome patience, we cannot say that it's liking at all. And you gave
Yes,
the
yes, I agree, but just it's just the footnote explain. I'm okay with their explanation because it's not just taking liking for liking. It's kind of equivalent. The liking is the appreciate the value of banya and therefore condition the endurance.
but
So
even
they have a full explanation.
even appreciate the value of kusala is different from kanti, the patience. So even if you say that liking is appreciate the value, it's still not the patience itself, it's the kanti, not the liking. Like you gave the example of Ajahn likes to travel a lot to Lucknow to share the Dhamma, but even if that liking is used in a wholesome sense, it's different from the kanti itself, the patience to endure difficulty.
At the moment of taking a bus and not very comfortable, at that moment, what condition of endurance if it's not the liking of sharing the Dhamma?
I think it's the understanding of the value of the Dhamma, understanding the importance of what is
But-
most precious in life. So that understanding conditions the kusala kanti, but the kanti itself is different from understanding. The patience itself is the virya cetasika, not the understanding.
I'm okay not to use liking. I'm just saying the way the footnote explained is that it's endure, so it's equivalent. That's the explanation, kind of make it equivalent. But yeah, but if conventionally we use liking, it can be misleading. That's true.
I think
Even-
it points to the importance of a clear, accurate translation.
Exactly, because enduring is
Which
not
we
like
don't always get, we don't always have. Some of those skills are no longer with us.
And why do you say that it's like?
The footnote says it's like because it's
Just
endure.
later.
So it's make it equivalent.
What about the reality, the nature of reality? We don't mind where it comes, the footnote of Tipitaka, but the truth is that at that very moment, why do you say that it's like? Can it be chanda, not attachment? Can it be wholesome kusala to share the understanding or the words of the Buddha with the others that they can understand and we can discuss to have more understanding what is right and what is wrong. For example, like now we have to discuss chanda is not attachment. And as long as it's taken for something, it is lopa there to take it for something when it's wrong. So chanda can arise with wholesome and unwholesome too. But it has to be known as nothing can be taken for self because the characteristic of each one is different, quite different. Lopa cannot be akusala, cannot be kusala, but chanda can be either kusala or akusala depending on conditions. What is there? So just take the word that like it doesn't apply to any reality. It can be interest when we don't know the difference between attachment and interest, chanda, because no understanding.
Yes, John, I think that text, what seems to me, it's just talking about a moment of understanding as well. That the moment of understanding that's condition the interest to endure for the value,
And
right?
we don't. And if you don't use the word "I endure," is there a reality right then?
Yes,
So we
actually many realities.
no matter it arises with kusala or akusala, cetasika, to know it exactly that is different from other reality, because viriya can be kusala, akusala, vipaka, and jiriya. And when it's strong enough, it is wholesome or unwholesome, depending on what arises with it. When one climbs up the mountain, high mountain, it's the kanti, but not kanti parami, no understanding. So now we talk about what is there, but we talk about the story of them, not the reality which is appearing. And at moment of directly understanding it with direct awareness, it must have right conditions for its arising when time comes, when the conditions are ready for that moment to arise only. That's why each moment is not easy to have it with such level of understanding. So it takes quite a long endurance, no matter it's now akusala, but even that akusala can be object of understanding. And each moment of knowing the benefit of it, the pressures of it, there can be moment of endurance with kusala, especially panya, which knows the aim or the goal or the point of listening.
So I think the main point, Vincent, is yes, there can be loba, there can be kusala or akusala, chanda, there can be understanding, but the patience or endurance itself is not the chanda or the loba or the understanding. It's a different reality because it's the viriya. And so actually the translator mentioned that the kanti is liking, and because it endures, because it likes, it endures. So he's equating it with kanti, but actually patience is not liking either kusala or akusala. So it's another kind of reality. So that's why it's good to understand each one.
And when we translate it that way, it means that usually people have kanti to get what they like. But the truth, the nature of it as the absolute reality is not talked about, whether it is what cetasika or what reality. But usually people can do anything that they like to have the result of to get it. But it has to be explained more than that. So do not just take the word like, but it has to be understood what it means and what level and what is there. So it's time now.
Yes, let's continue this afternoon at 2 o'clock, John.
Yes, please.
Okay, 2 o'clock.